Hello, it's Helen from Journal with Purpose and welcome to my Journal with Me video. I will be using a plain standard size traveller's notebook insert inside a vintage leather cover from Start Bay Notebooks. I decided I wanted to create a really bright and colourful spread, so I'm going to use one of the wrapping paper sheets from the book that I got from London Gifties. And I'm going to use that to cover the whole right hand side of the page, and I'll be sticking it down with Pritt Stick. I really like this sheet of paper because it's got the watercolour splotches on it, and it's also got some art supplies decorated on it, and I just thought that was a perfect match for my journal. So I'm now just flattening that sheet down, and I'll then cut around the edges to make sure that it fits neatly on my page. I don't often use a whole sheet to cover a page in my journal, but I just thought that this was such a nice backing and a really quick and easy way to add lots of colour to my spread. The next thing I'm going to do is use some handcrafted watercolour paints from London Gifties. And I'm selecting two colours that I think tie in really well with that sheet of wrapping paper. I'm using a travel brush from Escoda Brushes, and I'm now going to mix up a really watery wash of both of the colours. Once I'm happy that I've got the consistency right, I'm going to add some of that paint just to the top of the left-hand page. And I'm holding my journal up at an angle because I want to encourage that paint to travel right down the page. So I'm giving it a shake, and I'll add more water underneath just to encourage it to keep dripping down. And I'm not after anything precise here, I just want a hint of those colours right across the page. And before I add the next colour, I'm going to quickly dry it because I don't want those two colours to mix together. I'm now going to do the same process with the purple paint, and again just add lots and lots of water to it to make sure that it will drip a little more easily. It's such a fun and easy technique, and I thought it would tie in really well with that sheet on the right. So I'm now adding the purple splotches across the top in between the yellow ones, and again adding that water underneath just to encourage the paint to move. And once I'm happy with that, again I will just quickly dry it. I'm now covering the right hand page because I'm going to use a fanned brush to add some more of the yellow paint splatters on the left hand page. And I'm really happy with how that's looking because I've got some colour on the page, but it won't be so distracting that I can't write and document over the top. I'm now ripping out some of that wrapping paper to add a little to my left hand page because I thought it'd be nice just to have a hint of that there too. Again, I'm sticking that onto the page using Pritt Stick. I'm using some watercolour effect washi tape, again from London Gifties, and I'm adding that down the centre of the page. And I'll fold it over to make sure that the journal will still close easily and trim off the excess pieces of washi tape. The next thing I'm going to do is add some writing. So I've put the underlay board underneath to make sure that I've got a firm surface, and I'm using this brass stencil to add the date, and the pen I'm using is a Staedtler pigment liner. And this works really well for me because it's waterproof, so if I do decide to add anything else wet, I know that it's not going to smudge on my page. The next thing I'm doing is adding a quote to the top of my page, and the quote reads, "Whatever you do or dream you can do, begin it. Boldness has genius and power and magic in it." And this quote really appealed to me at the moment because I've been doing lots of things this year that are new to me and certainly outside of my comfort zone. So it's a nice reminder that actually boldness is a good thing and not to let any kind of fear hold me back. I love adding quotes in my journal, and I feel that it helps to set the theme for what I'm then going to write about when I add my journaling. My obsession with adding pressed flowers to my journal continues. So I've picked these really pretty pink flowers and I'm using some clear craft PVA glue to hold the top down. I'm then using a very thin strip of washi tape to the bottom of the stem, and I'm going to add a wax seal over the top. I've got these little wax stars and I'm going to melt those over the top of the candle, and then I'll add them straight on top of that washi tape strip. I love adding wax seal to my pages, and I like being able to combine those little wax stars so that I can get a combination of colours. Once the wax is on the page, I'm going to use the seal to add a pattern to it. I'm really happy with how that's come out. I'm now going to add a little bit of doodling to the right hand side, so I'm going to add a border right around the edges, and I also thought it would be a nice effect to sketch loosely around the little watercolour circles. And because there's going to be lots of black ink on the left hand page when I've added my writing, I thought that helped to tie the two sides in together. I'm now going to start adding the journaling to my left hand page, and I've been writing about things that have been going on recently, how happy I've been that I've finally launched my first class on Skillshare, and thank you so much to so many of you for coming over and joining me over there. I really do appreciate it, and it was lovely to see those familiar names popping up as students on my class, so thank you so much. Overall, I'm really pleased with how my journal pages came out. I'm loving having some of those bright colours on my pages, and it seems to tie in with the spring's coming and we've got lots of flowers outside, and I really like having those bright colours in my journal to help signify that. I really hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, it would be great if you could leave it a thumbs up. And if you're new to my channel, I would love it if you would consider subscribing. If you've got any questions or comments, please do leave them down below and I'll definitely get back to you. And I'll also make sure that I link all of the products down below too. There's also a playlist created with all my other Journal With Me videos if you'd like to look at that. Thank you ever so much for watching, and I look forward to speaking to you in the next one.